Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video we're going to be discussing something that is at the back of many players' minds and is continuously and increasingly getting more and more annoying, and that is the simple fact that we still have not had any chance to access 1-star champions for variant 1 since it was released. And I think this is a relatively decent time to remind everybody that this is still a problem. We still haven't had any solution outside of those horrific champion crystals for 50 units apiece with a very slim chance to acquire the 1-star that you need. So for those of you who have forgotten or haven't been following up for so long, basically variant 4 came out in December. Like 11th of December or 10th of December, something like that. And it required different star rated champions. The problem with that is that the final quest of variant 4 does require you to use only 1-star champions. Now, big problem for that is the fact that A, some people have sold them, and B, many people progressed the game faster than originally years back it was intended to, and didn't even acquire all of the 1-star hero champions. As in, like, you did not sell any of the 1-star champions yourself, but simply due to your natural progression being accelerated, you didn't also acquire a full roster of 1-stars, but instead you got like half of it. And now, if you are, I think, uncollected and above, or proven and above, or I don't even know which title and above, basically there is absolutely zero options of acquiring 1-star champions outside of a very, very horrible crystal that has 80% chance of a 2-star champion and 20% chance of a 1-star champion. For the first time ever in history of Kabam, you have higher chance to pull a higher star champion, which I found extremely funny and hypocritical, because I bet originally those crystals were other way around. But yeah, basically you have 1 in 5 chance per 50 units to get a 1-star champion. And the biggest problem of this entire fact is that you pretty much need 1-star Hulk, because you have Caustic Temper node, which requires you to be poison immune and have a Fury effect active on you. And there's only one 1-star in the game currently available who fits that bill, and that's 1-star Hulk. Now, there are 12 1-stars in the game, or 13 at max, I think, and you're fishing for a specific one. If you have to use these 50-unit crystals, obviously it can be incredibly expensive. Now, there is an option to try and push through with 1-stars that have a Fury buff but are not poison immune and just throw revives at the matter. I've heard that quite a few people have done it with Gamora or Juggernaut, but still at the same point that is still extremely dear. The problem is that Kabam has not addressed this issue at all whatsoever. When variant 1 came out, they re-released this hero crystal for 50 units for everybody to purchase via units, obviously, and haven't added any ways how to acquire 1-star champions since then. So now it's 3 months later, or 4 months later even, yeah, because we have December, January, February, and now March. Yeah, January. But all of this time, nothing has been done. And I couldn't help but to believe, to kind of like get more and more annoyed, because we have had some really, really horrific, dog-awful side events, or at least parts of them. Like last month, we had that arena which nobody wanted to play for the milestones because that arena was horribly misdesigned. Now, Love is a Battle was a fine event which still could have had a couple of these crystals added and sprinkled in here and there. But the thing is that arena could have had these crystals in as well. Additionally, in past, Kabam has in fact added these hero crystals, or 1 to 2-star hero crystals in 1 versus 1 battles, and that's an easy thing to incorporate in any side event. If they put in, for instance, any gates or any specific champion requirements that you need to have, I don't know, 2-star Spider-Man or Spider-Man of any rarity, they in past usually changed the rewards of 1 versus 1 arena, that's the quick match arena, to hero crystals, which could give you a chance of acquiring those specific 2-stars. And then basically the idea was, if you do not have, let's say, a Colossus on your roster, you go and grind that 1 versus 1 for free and acquire and basically spin them open till you get it. It wasn't a perfect solution, but for most part it solved all of the problems for people. And they have done it multiple times in the past. I recall at least 3, I believe. The problem is that now, several months down the line, since Variant 1 came out, they haven't had any effort. And this is a message that Kabam Mike left initially. There's quite a lot to read in this Waning Moon thread. Basically, Kabam Mike saying it's permanent content, don't know how to do it, can come back later. We're bringing back the Hero Crystal, the special crystal with 1 and 2 star champions. It will live in the store somewhere, but you can purchase them for more 1 and 2 star champions. Again, the problem is they flipped the drop rate for those champions, and you have 20% of a 1 star and 80% of a 2 star, which is a horrible, horrible chance. So 1 star Hulk Hunt can potentially cost you multiple Odins, and you might still not do it, at which point it would have been easier to suffer through the variant without the 1 star Hulk, but you never know, right? And then when questioned about it, any other options how to acquire it, they say, and not yet, but during special events in future. This is a permanent content. We don't want to change the 1 versus 1 price permanently, but do like having it changed for special events from time to time. Right now, only way will be Hero Crystal, which will be available in store for players level 45 plus for 50 units. And the reply to that was, dang, that's heartbreaking, which it is, which I still find extremely silly that within a quarter of a year's time, Kabam has been unable to find a way how to give players more options and more chances at acquiring these 1 star champions, which came out to be extremely specific requirements and one specific 1 star champion. Again, we're talking about specifically 1 star Hulk here pretty much, because the rest of the champions you can kind of do without. That is the only kind of like down to the bottom champion requirement, which is extremely poor node design if you ask me. If there is only 1 single champion that can deal with the specific path well in that quest, and that's roadblocking a lot of people. And a lot of people, I feel, get increasingly more and more frustrated, but it hasn't really been brought up, or I don't think I have seen Kabam employees being questioned on that. And the purpose of this video is to kind of like make note that we still remember that this is a problem. We still want to see these 1 and 2 star champions added to the game, and rather sooner than later, because waiting already 3+ months on it is, in my opinion, more than enough time. They should have needed to find a way how to introduce some 1 and 2 star champions availability for players without requiring some insane RNG luck and absolute crap ton of units. So that is the hope of the video, that you guys pick up the question once again. Start threads in forums, ask on Twitter whenever you get the chance, when will you get your 1 star champions? Because if not for you or for me, I have finished Variant 1 and that's all perfectly fine. I just find it still extremely unfair and annoying as a fact that still to date, 3 months down the line, only way progressed summoners can acquire 1 star champions is via extreme RNG luck and the use of units via crystals. I definitely think that this was a problem from get-go, from day one. This was in fact pretty much the only thing that tainted the entire variant. Variant 4 was one of the most fun and interesting pieces of content, and I absolutely loved it, but at the same point I couldn't feel somewhat guilty about the fact that I was simply fortunate enough to have had the necessary 1 star champion. And I can completely understand people who were extremely pissed off since day one if they didn't have the 1 star Hulk. And I think it's about high time we remind Kabam that they need to rectify the situation and enable more people complete this content without absolutely excruciating pain, or change the Variant 4 node and remove the Caustic Temper lane with something else. That would also be a decent solution, which they should have thought. If they are unable to give us access to 1 star champions, or let us target 1 star champions, because there could have been multiple different ways. They could have added these personal objectives in game, like I believe they did for one of the Spider-Man events, where you need to find a specific champion, go fight it 50 times or whatever, and then you get awarded 2-star copy of that champion. They could have done exactly the same thing for 1-star champions and give people the option of acquiring them. That's not a big thing, easy to do. They seem to be adding special objectives willy-nilly these days. Why not the 1-star champions as a reward for some of them? Or change 1 versus 1 system, or introduce these hero crystals and other stuff in some lower difficulties of monthly side events. Why not in this one? We have these mole man missions. You could have easily given these hero crystals out for completing every path. It wouldn't change anything for anyone if they gave up 100 of those crystals. There are hundreds, well, at least dozens ways how they can introduce these 1-star champions for players to be earned without that changing relatively anything. Again, we have objectives, we have side events, we have 1 versus 1 quick matches, we have lots of different ways how to incorporate the 1-stars. But they simply have not bothered, and I kind of get the impression that they have forgotten. It's kind of like somewhere at the bottom of their to-do pile or something. And yeah, definitely I think we need to remind that. Additionally, probably Dorky Degree Dave should ask that question next time he goes down to Kabam. Hey, what gives? Where are the 1-stars? But yeah, that will pretty much do for this video. So let me know what you guys think. Should Kabam have had enough time to introduce the 1-stars? Do you think it's a very big process concerning game economy or balance, or a matter of simple laziness or forgetfulness? Either way, I just figured it is definitely worth picking up the discussion and hopefully, yeah, reinvigorating the discussion itself. All that being said, that will do for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.